Welcome to Freezer Milk Podcast. I'm your host, Bridget, along with my husband, Chris. Podcast where we talk about the comedic side and serious side of parenting, life, and relationships. We are boy parents. We have two boys, Enzo and Rhett, with about a 6-year age gap between the two. You can check out our website, freezermilk.com. Also, feel free to follow us on Instagram at Freezer Milk Podcast. Thanks and hope you enjoy.
Another week has passed, and I know we had previously discussed on our podcast that me and Bridget were actually going to try and go out on a date this week since we hadn't been on a date in a while. Well, let me tell you, it's a lot harder than it looks. It sounds.
We tried.
We did try, but we actually made it to a restaurant and
With the baby.
Third date. And I ended up getting sick, so we had to.
You were like sweating at the table.
Yeah, I was like, it was no good. It was just no good. I was running a really, really high fever.
I'm like, do we need to go? Do you want me to get this to go? And you just wouldn't say anything.
I was trying to, because I knew she really needed it. She had a good day. And I was trying to be strong, and it was backfiring severely.
Yeah, it kind of made me mad because I think I asked you like 4 times, and you just wouldn't answer me.
Yeah. So, anyway, we had to ask the waitress to, immediately she delivers the food to the table. Like we didn't even, I think I got one bite in, and we pulled her back and we're like, hey, can we get this to go? So we ended up packing up the food and taking it.
She was really confused.
She was really confused by the whole thing. But I mean, we did try, so I give us props for the effort. Let's hope maybe next week we'll be able to actually succeed.
Yeah. In
the endeavor. It's tough. It's tough going through, a lot of different, change in our life. And
we have a babysitter interview tomorrow for not a nanny, but a babysitter.
Yeah. So maybe we can get somebody to watch the kiddo and we could actually enjoy a real date. She'll probably get sick next time. But, it's just hard. We get so busy in our lives that we forget to date each other. And, we're so worried about the kids and our jobs, and our focus is pulled in so many different directions that we stop focusing on each other. And I think it's rather important that we get back to that and bring that back into our lives, because at the end of the day, this should be about us.
Didn't you send me the 5-5-5 rule or something like that?
Yeah. A long time ago.
No, it was recently.
Oh, was it?
It's like every 5 days, have a date night.
Yeah.
And then every 5 weeks, do a weekend.
Yeah, and then every 5 years have a
week-long
trip. I mean, we did pretty good the last 2 years, because as far as trips are concerned, but
it was easier when it wasn't a pandemic and there wasn't a baby.
Yeah, I tell you, it's a learning curve for us. We're trying to figure out how to raise a family and work full-time careers and extracurricular stuff, and still try and find that time for us. And I think it's extremely important that we continue to strive at that every day, because it'll get away from you.
Let's talk about Rhett this week. He is on a crash into everything mode this week.
Yeah, now that he's become pretty mobile, he
gets going too fast.
Yeah, he gets going too fast. He misses a step, he falls, and we have a lot of tile in our house. He's constantly hitting his head, his face. We're hitting walls, hitting the floor, hitting anything that's right in front of him. And it's exhausting.
I felt so bad the other night. We had a little stool to reach up to high cabinets because I'm short. And the other night I walked by him and it just barely brushed him enough to throw him off balance. And he face planted his mouth into the corner of that stool. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry, bud.
Yeah, and he's already having teeth. He's teething, and he's got a bunch of teeth coming in, and so his mouth already hurts. And it seems like he always lands on his face, on his mouth. Mm-hmm. And every morning every morning I'm picking him up off the floor because he fell. And
we tried the little soft helmet, and he just rips it off.
Yeah, he just rips it off his head. It's hard to keep him contained now. he's not very good at sitting in like a swing or one of his bouncers or something. He wants to be walking around following us around, and he does. That's what he does. He follows us around all day long. He just constantly following us around. You know, he sits with me when I'm working. He sits with her. He's constantly here. He's there. He's just into everything, and you know, he's interested and he's curious about the world and everything around him, and it's just exhausting. So
he has done a little bit more this week of actually just like sitting and like relaxing with you.
Yeah, but I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that he's not feeling good right now.
Yeah,
I mean, he's definitely really struggling there.
Ooh, he recently discovered that he likes to have books be read to him.
Yes, he'll bring a book over to you and hand it, like basically not like hand it to you, but he tries to hand it to you, and he wants you to read him a book.
And he gets so excited.
He gets so excited for these books. It's amazing. So
that was like a new thing that he started doing this week.
Oh, I mean, yesterday I could tell he wasn't feeling well because he actually like laid on my chest for like 30 minutes while you were gone.
Oh, wow.
I was surprised. It's not like him, but those are the moments. I mean, those are the moments that I strive for with him because one day they're going to be gone.
Yep.
And you might find it kind of weird if your 18-year-old son's fucking laying on your chest. So
I mean, maybe it won't be weird.
There's just a lot going on, and we're day by day.
Yeah.
Bridget's got the cabinets getting painted, and our house is in disarray.
It's not helping the baby at all.
No, it's really throwing him off. It's throwing him off his schedule. It's throwing him off his routine.
Lots of noises.
Lots of people. He's excited. He's confused. He's curious. He just wants to know what's going on. Not to mention he's been reprimanded in my office, which when I get on phone calls for work, he's vocal and wants to be held, or he's getting into something, and it's just a lot going on this week.
Yeah. Today it was crazy because we had cabinet people, the cleaners, and the shower shelf guys all here.
Yeah, and all of them were here at the same time at one point.
No, luckily the cleaners and the shower shelf. Oh, and then the door guy stopped by.
Yeah. There's a lot of different things happening, and I think it probably took a toll on him. He started getting really antsy towards the end of it. So I got him out of the house for a couple hours, took him for a drive. It kind of calmed him down.
He took some really long naps today. It was kind of alarming.
Yeah, I think he was tired.
Yeah.
He's still not feeling well either. I mean, he's struggling with gut issues. He's struggling with mouth issues.
We think so. We've talked about before, like Rhett has dairy intolerance, and we think he had some dairy recently, and it has just like wrecked his gut. This poor dude. So we started probiotics again for him to try to help out, but currently he's on like day 4 of diarrhea.
Yeah, it's not good.
And just uncomfortable. And we're giving him fluids like around the clock right now to try to help
him.
Well,
it doesn't help that he's been congested. He's been sick with me for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And he's had teeth issues, and it's just a lot for him. He's going through it, man. Yeah. People don't understand. The babies go through it too. Not just us adults.
It's so tough, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, having a cranky baby and...
Well, like, just knowing, like, there's only so much you can do for him.
Mm-hmm. Trying to find some balance. It's tiring.
He's definitely in a, like, I want to be held or snuggled all the time phase right now.
He's all about mom.
He snuggled you yesterday.
Yeah, a little bit. But mostly he's about you.
Yeah. And Zoe, this week, had a play date for the first time in... 8 months?
He was so excited.
He was so excited. It's like one of his best friends at school, and he'd asked about it, and so I have his mom's number because I have like the school parent directory or whatever, and so excited. We've told him like 3 days ahead of time about it, and every day he would talk about it, what time it was going to be at, the day of. He like picked out his outfit to wear to this play date. It was just in a playground. Like, nothing crazy, but he loved it.
Well, I mean, he had asked during the pandemic, he asked several times, why can't I go see my friends? When can I go see my friends? Can we have a play date? And we always told him, no, bud, we're sorry, we can't, it's not safe, et cetera, et cetera. And he finally got to a point where he just stopped asking, but we picked him up from school the other day, and he was like, he was telling us that his best friend wanted to do a play date over the weekend because he did really good on a test or something. So I'm glad that it actually lined up, and he had talked about it all week, and he was so excited for it,
Right.
And he got to go do it. And I think he enjoyed himself. He got home, he was like actually tired.
It was weird, right?
Yeah, I was surprised. I've never seen him like that. He was just actually tired, physically tired or emotionally tired. One of them.
I don't know.
It was a lot for him. Not used to being able to go do that.
Yeah, because we haven't done it in so long. It was cool to see like a kid that is a friend of his and like see how they interacted together and were just goofy and kids. It was kind of cool to see that because it's not like we are in his classroom at school every day, so we don't get to see the interaction from him.
Right.
So that was really cool. He enjoyed it a ton. It's interesting too to get other parents' perspective on like their school like workload and just their class dynamic. It was really interesting to talk to his mom and just kind of see what her insight on that was.
Yeah, what'd she have to say?
That she felt like it's a lot of homework. That she was telling me kind of like what happens because they've been at school a couple more years than we have. So she was giving kind of the lowdown of like what happens when your kid, acts out. And, so we talked in the past how Enzo's been kind of bullied by a kid in this class. And she was telling me like that kid's chronically had issues, unfortunately. So she was saying that her kid has acted out from time to time. And she will get like blown up with emails from the teachers at school about it when it's happened. So she was saying that this kid that bullied Enzo, his parents are probably getting like blown up with emails about it.
Yeah, and it's like, what do you do?
Right? That's gotta be hard as a parent. Like, we're on the, our kid's getting bullied side of it, but...
What if your kid's the bully?
Right? That's gotta be super tough.
Especially at that age. I mean, they're so young.
Yeah.
They don't know.
And how do you
correct that behavior?
like, reprogram that?
It's just it. I mean...
It was interesting, like, when I was talking to her about that, because I started thinking about that, and I was like, huh. Like, we have yet to really get any emails. And so, remember when he was in, like, a 3-year-old class or 4-year-old class at like preschool, and they're like, hey, like he just likes to like lay down on people. And like when we're supposed to be sitting in circle time, he'll like lay down and like lean on his friends and hug them, and that's not appropriate circle time behavior. That was like the extent of like the quote unquote trouble he's ever gotten in.
He's a very affectionate person.
He is. He's a lover. But it was really interesting because it got me thinking, like, if we ever came across that where our kid was the bully, like, how do we even go about that?
Like, speaking of him being affectionate, they talk about individuals and their love languages. And obviously, we figured out that Enzo's love language is physical touch and quality time, but mainly physical touch, yeah. I think. And then you have two parents, like me and you, that definitely are not physical touch people. And you have a kid that wants to touch you constantly. Like, what do you do about that? Like, how do you navigate that? And how do you give them what they need while, helping them to understand that, they need to respect your boundaries?
I don't know if in general if people typically pair up with people that are similar love languages. Because, like, my way of showing love is gifts. Right?
Right.
I feel like that's a pretty accurate.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't used to be. But over time, that became the way that I show love and appreciation is, gifts. Getting gifts for people that I care about.
Mine are acts of service.
Yours are acts of service. You, over time, have worked really hard to try to receive when I give a gift as understanding that, like, this is Bridget showing, like, love and appreciation. And I, over time, have tried to receive when you do acts of service. This is Chris showing love and appreciation. Because naturally, like, we don't default into those categories.
It's got to be that much harder for kids. Because I don't default into any of his love languages.
Yeah.
So it makes it tough to relate. Like what we were talking about the other day, that he is so freaked out about a movie. Mm-hmm. The Goosebumps. I accidentally had it on. The Goosebumps, the new one, and I fell asleep, and I didn't, pay attention that he was in there, in here listening and watching the movie, and he ended up watching the whole damn thing, and there's a character in the movie, Slappy, that haunts his dreams now. And it's, it's constant. He gets very upset about it. He'll start crying in the middle of the day because of it. And, this has been going on. How long ago did we watch that movie? It had been 4 months ago.
I feel like this only surfaced fairly recently, though.
Yeah, he must have saw something again that reminded him.
Because I feel like it's only been the last... It started at the other house, I think.
And, well, I mean, I found him in his room or in his playroom just crying, and I'm like, "What? Why are you crying?" Like, I'm used to him crying because because of his growing pains. Yeah. But, and that's what I thought it was. And he's like, and then he explained to me that he had a nightmare about Slappy, or, he sees Slappy, or whatever the case may be. And I feel bad, but I get frustrated with him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't understand this. Like, I don't understand why we continue to talk about it and why you continue to bring it up.
I've tried to explain to him, and it's not working. I've tried to explain to him that the more you talk about it, the more it's in your subconscious, and the more you're going to have bad dreams. Because it's already, there,
Well.
But that doesn't seem to work.
I was trying to give him, positive... I wanted to give him, positive information regarding Slappy. So I did some research, and I got online, and I saw that the voice of
I think you told that last week, about
Wolverine. Yeah, the voice of the character is the same voice of the comic book, The Wolverine. And I said, hey, you got to think of it this way. Slappy is a plastic or wooden doll, and his voice is a real person in real life. And that person happens to be the same character as Wolverine in the cartoon comics. And he used it for a while, and I don't know, I was hoping that would help him, and I don't know, it's just gotten worse, I think. But it's something I really struggle with him. He's a very emotional being.
Very highly emotional.
He's probably the most emotional kid I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Wonder what
I 110% think that both he and Rhett, in different ways, were meant to be in your life to really stretch and grow you as a person.
Yeah, Rhett is adventurous, curious, into everything. Enzo is very well behaved for the most part. Very smart, highly, he's does all his homework. He comes home, first thing he does is changes out of his school clothes, maybe grabs a snack, and then he goes immediately to his homework. He does his chores in the morning, brushes his teeth. Sometimes we have to remind him, but...
So it's funny because, physical touch is not your love language, and Enzo's a big physical touch person.
Yep.
Rhett is, too. When do you get most frustrated with Rhett? When you don't want to have to pick him up, but he's, crying because he wants to be held.
Yeah.
And that's when you get so frustrated, because you're like, I can't just hold you all day, buddy.
Yeah. Because
it falls into that bucket of...
Yeah, because who's going to
physical touch and quality time.
Yeah, who's going to hold me all day?
It's interesting, though, that I don't know if those will end up being Rhett's love languages, but currently it's physical touch and quality time.
But I mean, shit, he's a baby.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
It's just tough. I mean, you got a lot of different personalities. A lot of different needs, a lot of different demands with 4 people in our household. And... everybody's different. Everybody's got their own traits and, characteristics. And
should we talk about who's been MIA for 2 fucking weeks now?
Yeah, go for it.
Your mom.
Yeah, she was supposed to be helping us with watching the kid because she's retired, and she was committed to spending more time with her grandson.
She had a schedule of what days a week she was going to watch him, and then she just fucking disappeared.
She disappeared. I went out of town, and she never came back.
Nope.
So there goes that hope.
You haven't even talked to her.
Nope.
That's weird.
No.
But yeah, it's been, aside from your mom being MIA, it's been I guess that adds to it. It's been a really interesting week, and on to the next one.
Yeah, hopefully this week we'll get a chance to actually go on a date and I won't get sick.
I'll see how the interview goes tomorrow with Susan.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll let you know how the nanny situation goes. Hopefully, our weeks tend to change rather quickly in this household. Things are constantly changing every day, and yeah, hopefully we get some quality time together, and we'll keep pushing on through another week.
Yep. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it.
We'll talk to you. Thanks, everybody, for listening. You can check us out at
freezermilk.com
or Instagram.
Freezer Milk Podcast.
Until next week, guys. Thanks.
Don't forget, parenting is a trip. We are all here on the journey with you together. Thanks so much for listening.